a prominent member of the Minneapolis Somali community who is now on the record telling the Daily Mail that in 2009, Ilhan Omar married her biological brother, Ahmed Saeed Almi, so that he could legally remain in the U.S.
We are making this request on three direct grounds. First, Representative Omar improperly and deliberately filed for a tax status for which she was not qualified, an illegal action in both federal and state law. The Minnesota Campaign Finance Board found on June 6th of this year that she illegally used campaign funds to pay a law firm to review her tax records.
Is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in favor say no. No. It's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it and the resolution is agreed to.
The media says it's a smear? Funny, because the evidence is coming from her own state. This might be the moment Ilhan Omar finally runs out of excuses. Alright folks, what you're seeing right now is the political version of actions finally meeting consequences. For years the radical left has behaved like the Constitution is optional, and the tax code only applies to regular Americans. Miss a payment? The IRS will crush you. But powerful politicians somehow keep skating. Now the spotlight is turning, and the most damaging part for Ilhan Omar is where the pressure is coming from. This isn't just Republicans in Washington anymore. Officials and voices from her own state of Minnesota are pointing to allegations involving tax issues, campaign money misuse, and questionable financial dealings. And right on cue, the squad jumps into full protection mode. No tough questions, no accountability. Just the usual defense shield. But the American public is getting tired of the double standards, and this time the heat is getting harder to ignore. Let's watch the video.
The Campaign Finance Board exposed crystal clear probable cause for a tax fraud or tax evasion investigation when they discovered that Representative Omar filed as married and filing jointly with Mr. Ahmad Hersey in 2014 and 2015. During those years, she was legally married to Mr. Ahmad Almi. Did the illegal filing produce a lower tax liability for the couple? Did her illegal tax filing bring her tax exemption for which she was not legally qualified? Usually people choose the tax filing status that yields them the lowest tax liability. Also, the board shared that the couple filed jointly during 2 specific years. Ilhan Omar and Ahmad Hersey have been together as a couple for 17 years. Given her record of crimes and violations of so many laws, it may be worth evaluating her claims of status in those other years as well. Second, Representative Omar lived together simultaneously with her first and second husbands at the same addresses in Minnesota and North Dakota in 2009 through 2011. The tax enforcers may need to check if she used an illegal tax filing status and obtained tax deductions, including standard deduction levels for which she was not qualified in those years. Third, we know that Representative Omar took improper kickbacks from 3 Minnesota colleges in 2017 when she oversaw their state budgets in 2017. Under campaign pressure, she returned those kickbacks in 2018. It is worth checking to see if she reported the kickbacks as income in 2017 or deducted the paybacks as expenses in 2018. 5 grounds for an investigation include corruption in public office and tax evasions on grounds of illegal filing status, improper deductions, concealed income from kickbacks, and improper claims for expenses. We are also aware of Representative Omar's pattern of improper conduct. She has been fined by the Campaign Finance Board for diverting campaign funds for an unpermitted political trip to Orlando. She has been directed to pay back her expenses for uncovered political trips to Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Florida, and Washington, D.C. She has been punished for conversion of campaign funds to pay for personal legal and accounting services. She has flouted laws regarding the filing of her personal financial data in a way that distorted the political campaign process. On June 25th, I asked my Congresswoman Angie Craig to launch an investigation into these improprieties. That went nowhere. She said, do it yourself. So on July 23rd, I asked the U.S. House Ethics Committee to investigate Representative Omar. That request is currently being reviewed by the Office of Congressional Ethics. On that same day, I launched OmarTruth.com in an effort to rally Minnesotans and Americans to help bring political pressure to bring about a congressional investigation. After 2 weeks, we have over 44,000 citizens expressing their strong desire to bring about a full investigation, and the list is growing. I will be adding today's request to the facts available on OmarTruth.com. Today, I and 9 other representatives are asking the nonpartisan federal and state tax enforcers to open investigations. We are simply asking them to do their jobs. You guys have anything? Questions, anyone?
Do state lawmakers have sway to influence the IRS or Minnesota Department of Revenue? Have you successfully asked for such things in the past? Is there a precedent?
I think certainly there's precedent, and I think it's incumbent upon us, Mary, lawmakers, the media, and others, when they see very clear, blatant violations of our laws, to find every way we can to appeal to the people who can investigate and prosecute those laws. And that's what we're doing here today.
How would a state lawmaker's request be different, though, than an average citizen? That's what I'm asking. Do you have any special sway or ability to request something?
You know, I don't think so. You know, I guess the fact that we each represent 40,000 people might be helpful, and it might be something that that those individuals take under consideration. But this gives us an ability, I think, to, in an organized, deliberative fashion, say, we have asked the Minnesota Department of Revenue to do their job. We have asked the IRS to do their job. Before we got here today, we don't know if they have been fully informed and appraised of these facts. After today, we can be sure that they have been fully informed and appraised of these facts.
So President Trump has an obvious place in this as the head of the federal executive branch. Would you like him to ask the IRS to do this? He could have more sway.
Well, he would have a lot more sway. Yeah. You know, I don't know that it's really our job to make that request to the president. I think he is aware of what is going on. I expect he is. You know, this effort today may make him more aware of some of those details, and it will be his decision as he looks at the facts and the circumstances in Washington to make that call.
Is that part of your goal today, to get more of his attention?
I think it's our goal to get his attention and every American's attention about what is going on here. It seems to me that that if this was a conservative Republican, that we would already have action going forward. And the fact that no one is above the law needs to be remembered here, and our agencies need to do their work.
If it was a conservative Republican, there's a lot of questions about President Trump's home taxes. Do you think he should be investigated for his own taxes?
Well, I think people have asked President Trump to bring his taxes forward for political reasons. I don't know that there's been anything expressed to show that there's probable cause for a crime.
Leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been.
First made a few years ago, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar tried to knock it down by calling it absurd. Then when the media turned up a wedding certificate, Omar went silent, refusing to make any comments at all, saying she does not talk about her family or personal life. Well, now others are talking, like Abdulhakim Osman, a prominent member of the Minneapolis Somali community, who is now on the record telling the Daily Mail that in 2009, Ilhan Omar married her biological brother, Ahmed Saeed Almi, so that he could legally remain in the U.S. and attend college. At the time, Omar was married to Ahmed Hersi, but it was a religious marriage, meaning there was no Minnesota state record stating that she and Hersey were husband and wife, and so marrying her brother would allow her sibling to get his legal immigration documents. But Mr. Osman isn't just saying that Omar married her biological brother. He also gave the Daily Mail the name of the Christian minister who married them. That minister reportedly says she does not want to be involved or interviewed about Congresswoman Omar.
Table, Resolution 9, on which the ayes and nays.
Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened.
The representative can say whatever the heck she wants, but we don't have to accept it or embrace it. Individuals who hold such hateful views should rightly be barred from that type of committee.
This institution is better because of her leadership, and the Foreign Affairs Committee benefits from her perspective. So let's talk about what's really happening. Republicans are waging a blatantly Islamophobic and racist attack on Congresswoman Omar. And I've said it before, I will say it again. The white supremacy happening is unbelievable. This is despicable.
We're not removing her from other committees. We just do not believe when it comes to foreign affairs, especially the responsibility of that position around the world with the comments that you make. She shouldn't serve.
Just ridiculous. What you just saw wasn't just a mess. It was a full-on display of corruption being defended like it's normal. And let's be clear, this isn't partisan noise. Minnesota lawmakers themselves came forward, publicly calling out Ilhan Omar. That's proof even her allies couldn't ignore the legal chaos anymore. We're talking tax filings that don't add up, joint returns while still married to someone else, kickbacks from colleges she oversaw. A Republican? Federal agents would have been at their door before sunrise. But Omar? She sits on the Foreign Affairs Committee like she's untouchable. Then you watch the floor debate. Absolute theater. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez screaming, gesturing wildly, insisting this is about racism and targeting women of color. Tax fraud a race? Illegal campaign funds a gender? The audacity. They think shouting, white supremacy, can erase stacks of tax returns and campaign ledgers. The double standard is staggering. These aren't minor errors, they're serious ethical questions. And defending someone with that record isn't just political, it's an insult to every American who plays by the rules. The squad treats Congress like their personal playground, thinking the law doesn't apply to them. That's why Kevin McCarthy pulling her from the committee wasn't vengeance. It was overdue accountability. Representing the U.S. abroad isn't a reward for lawbreaking. And finally, Omar faced real consequences, with her own state turning against her. So here's the takeaway. This isn't about politics. It's about enforcing the rules. Losing that committee seat? Long overdue. Expulsion? That's a debate for the voters. Let me know what you think. Is this enough, or should Congress have gone further?